Yeah. That was a Three Drunk Monkeys playing that opening song for the 99% Radio Network here on the Fishbowl. Welcome, everybody. This is Mad Wednesday here in the Fishbowl. You are listening to the 99% Radio Network with Sideshow N12. Mongo is on a trip in California, and he'll be returning soon, and we'll give you all the details about his travels a little later on. But first, we want to give a big shout-out to the Veterans Resource Outreach Center, the VROC, who is our sponsor of the 99% Radio Network. Chris Kazar and his family has been supporting the Rowlett and surrounding communities for over 20 years with Life Message, and now they have the Veterans Resource Outreach Center located at 4110, right? 4110?
4210.
4210 Industrial Boulevard. They offer many programs and services to our military and our first responders, along with their families. The VROC has no borders, so no matter where you are in this great land, you can go to the VROC, and they will be happy to serve you. All you have to do is get over there, and you can be part of the Veterans Resource Outreach Center. They've helped many veterans and many first responders since their inception, and they are always looking to provide more services for you. So check them out at www.lifemessage.org for any information you will need. On today's show, we welcome our guests, and 12 is going to be right here to tell us about it. Go ahead, man.
So we're very happy to have Gurvinder. Did I get it right?
Man, that was well said.
Is that all right? Okay, Singh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Gurvinder Singh from United Sikhs, and this one's easy.
Paul. Singh.
Paul.
Paul, just bring your mic a little closer to you. Hold on, wait.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Hold on, I'm just gonna retransform here. Yeah, you guys keep talking. I'm just gonna.
We're gonna get you in there. So we have Paul from the Sikh Riders of America, and we're gonna be talking about all things Sikhs and the charities that the Sikh Riders of America support. Same thing for United Sikhs, and we're also going to be honoring the service and sacrifice of Harris County Deputy Sheriff Sandeep Dhaliwal, who was a Sikh. He was the first Sikh in the state of Texas to be allowed to wear his turban on duty.
Right.
And it was quite the matter of pride, I'm guessing not only for him, but for the whole Sikh community.
Well, no question.
And so he was tragically killed in an on-duty shooting a couple of weeks back. So we're going to be talking about his life and service a little bit. And then somewhere along the way, we're going to have a call-in from Crayon of Itis Virtus up in Springfield, Missouri.
Right.
And they're going to be talking about a program that they have where they go out to the National Cemetery there in Springfield and the other cemeteries around Springfield, Missouri, and lay wreaths on the graves of the fallen. And then also expect our brother Mongo to call. I think he's out there in Area 52.
51?
Area 51 or 52 because he might have got lost.
Is there an area? There's an Area 52?
There is an Area 52.
It's only for
actually.
Mongos.
It's only for Mongos, though. But he's out there. I think he got there a little late, but he was going to be part of that million man scrum, that was going to storm. He's just a little late.
He's a little late.
He's a little late.
So he's going to storm Area
he'll be
51 by himself.
Well,
if anybody could do it,
Mongo could do it.
if anybody could do it, Mongo could do it, man.
Yeah, Mongo can do it. But no,
Yeah.
he's out there. Can I plug what we got coming?
Oh,
up?
yeah.
So
sure.
we're really excited about this. Mongo's out there on business, but part of that business is that we are going to try to facilitate the first transatlantic patch-in of a new chapter ever.
That's groundbreaking.
It's pretty cool.
That is.
So Mongo is going to be the facilitator, and people that listen to the show regularly, they hear the preacher's prayer at the end of every show when a preacher from Blue Deos over in Dublin, Ireland, calls in to end the show. Well, he's going to be patching in a new chapter in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So they've made arrangements. We're going to try to do this with the technology at hand. Don't know how it's going to go, but it's pretty exciting nonetheless.
Yeah. Since the inception of 99, this radio show, we have built such great relations with so many different groups and chapters and clubs throughout the world. I mean, from the Ukraine to Italy to the Czechoslovakia to Russia to Germany to Dublin, Ireland.
Wow.
We are really we're bringing a network together of brothers who all are like-minded and I want to bring this up again, that throughout all these clubs and charities, they are raising millions and millions and millions of dollars for their own charities, that if not for them, the taxpayers would have to foot this bill. So I can't tell you enough how much you need to support each one of these groups, because they are really making a difference in other people's lives. They are saving lives. Look at Blue Deus in Dublin, Ireland, buying those incubators for the babies and the those
the machine to test mother's milk.
the machines to test mother's milk. I mean, that's essential in Ireland, and that's something I never knew about, that they had such an issue over there in Ireland, and because here in the United States, we take for granted that everything's just kind of given to us. We kind of get that entitlement feeling that, oh my God, we're going to go to a hospital and it's going to be there. But we start looking at other countries where they don't have the same services here, that they don't have those same services. And Blue Deus out in Ireland, they seen that need, and they stepped up and they raised over $500,000 for these moms and these hospitals. And that to me is mind-blowing, and it educates me to a point where now I see the differences between the United States and other countries, and I really want to make more of a difference. This really gives me the energy to say, hey, I want to help,
This community that we're involved in, the 99% motorcycling community, is tremendous. And today we are honored to have the Sikh Riders of America with us, because you talk about a group that does charitable work all across the country, and their contributions are tremendous. But you look at them, you look at the Southern Dogs, you look at America's Guardians, Iron Legacy. I mean, a lot of Invictus, Rogue 22, a lot of these clubs, we've had in here as our guests before, and as we've done before, and it's been a little while, so I'm sure it's gone up since then. You see the amount of money that these groups collectively have raised, and then individually for their respective charities. And I mean, you're talking some real money. It'd be interesting to see if it's well over $1 million.
Oh, I would
this
say,
year.
I would say if you collectively throughout all the clubs out there, I would say you add some S's onto that, because that's millions.
Probably so. I mean, I'm talking about the ones just here in North Texas. I'll bet you it's close.
Well, alone, American Guardians raised $30,000 just for the teddy bear run.
A lot of money.
I mean, how many clubs do we have just here in North Texas? Approximately, there's got to be over 100, 80 to 100.
I think we counted the last time we counted. It was about 82 or 83, 99% clubs.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're probably looking over in the millions, And what I want to do bring up, and to segue off that, when you brought up Shiner from the Southern Dogs, I was honored to go to a charity event, a rally over in a school over here. Oh man, I just kind of lost it where the school was, but for Bikers Against Bullying and SPOP, where they were trying to promote and they were trying to educate about the effects of bullying, and I met some 4th and 5th graders.
Let me interrupt you, buddy. We're having some technical problem here. Everybody's saying they can't see us for some reason. I don't know if we'll go back to the other one, the OBS, and see. Is that any better, y'all? Tell us if you can.
I ironed my shirt for this, man.
No, we're on the air. I could see it on my Facebook.
So I don't know what the deal is. And by the way, Shiner said to say hi to y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
So now we switched.
Yeah.
So we got Grant Priest over in England. We got England on already.
Wow. Which we got. We're going to bring up some stuff about Grant in a little bit.
Big loves in Memphis, Tennessee. He's up there having some Memphis barbecue, I'll bet you. Or he's probably teaching them how to cook Memphis barbecue, because that guy can. Do you guys know Big Love from Invictus over in Fort Worth? Have y'all ever met him? He's a real big guy, bearded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I met him.
Tell him to bring some barbecue next time.
Yeah.
He can cook, trust me.
Oh, thanks, Ken. I had a brain fart. Shina just reminded me, we were over in Louisville, and Bikers Against Bullying and SPOP, another organization that fights bullying across the nation, where they wanted to educate, they wanted to bring awareness to the school, and I met these 4th and 5th graders who had such heartwarming stories about how they were bullied in school, how they were thrown in lockers, how they were punched for no reason, how they were beat up, and that one child had to switch schools because the bullying was so bad.
And these are 8 and 9-year-olds.
These are 8 and 9-year-olds.
Wow.
And, you know, it's horrible to think that you send your kid to school to get an education, and there's people out there that are going to just beat them and punch them and torment them for no reason. Yeah. And, you know, at 9 years old, that's not something you should be doing.
Yeah, that's not.
You know, so what disdained me a little bit is that, you know, all these parents who complain about bullying and the schools that complain about bullying, there was hardly anybody there. No parents showed up. No parents showed up. You know, here you have 2 organizations that are spending their time in trying to combat bullying, and parents never showed up to educate themselves about bullying and how to bring this further to make maybe a federal standard across the nation, because each school is different on their bullying policies, which shouldn't be. Each school should have the same bullying policies, and it should be across the board. And you can't sweep that stuff under the rug, because what you're doing is you're emotionally scarring that child for life. As much as the bullying seems to be maybe just a teasing aspect to you, it's a big issue to a child of 9. And they will remember that for the rest of their lives.
And you know, something that we've come in contact with, especially as a child, is less likely to even tell his parents what's going on at school.
Right.
They're going to keep it within. They're not even going to want to share what's transpiring,
Because they're embarrassed.
They're embarrassed, or it makes them think that they look weak.
Right.
You know,
right.
to even ask for assistance.
Well, depending on the parent too, because there are parents out there, and you know, that will, you know, you may have some dads with some, you know, built up testosterone and go, hey, suck it up, kid, suck it up, or you know, hey, you know, let it go. You know, you can't do that.
No,
you can't do that. You got to be a parent who listens. You know,
a child at that age is so fragile.
Right.
You know.
Yep. And their minds are just developing.
Absolutely.
You know, and what you're doing in the education aspect is you're really denying them proper education, because now they have to live in fear and they have to worry about walking hallways. And nowadays, I mean, I didn't have it back when I was in school. I mean, we got, you know, once the bullying school was over, the bullying ended. You know, now the kids go home and it's social media, you know, which is probably 1,000 times worse.
No question.
You know, because now it goes viral. You know, now everybody in the school hears it. You know, it's not just that little clique of friends. Now everybody knows that you've been bullying. And now people are taking pictures and, you know, taking pictures of kids getting beat up in the bathrooms or assaulted in the hallways. That's just no way for a kid to go through life.
I don't know if Shiner saw it or not. I forwarded a video that I saw from one of the clubs that we follow on the network, and they were riding their motorcycles down the hallway in the school. Right, they rode it right down the hallway.
Wow.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. So I sent Shiner a message. I said, you know, you want to really deliver a message, get 2 or 3 motorcycles to go down the hallway right up to the classroom where, you know, with the bullied child on the back of that, drop them off right at the door, so you can actually look in the door and see the bully in there and go, yeah, buddy, okay, take a look at this, look real good, because this stops today.
Yeah, but you know what? And now I got educated.
Hang on, brother.
Okay.
Got a call here.
All right.
Caller, you are on the air with the 99% Radio Network. Who's here?
This is Mongo here.
Hey, Mongo. How are you, brother?
What's going on?
What's going on, brothers?
Where are you?
Held at my hotel and just saw my brand new baby grandchild.
So that's what you went out to Area 52 to pick up, huh?
Yeah, well, among other things, to visit my new grandbaby.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm glad you had a safe trip and you got out there great. You are missed, though.
You know, I went out of my way to find a handsome couple to be the eye candy for the show while I was gone, and then
then we showed up.
Broke her tooth.
Yeah, I told him to suck it up, man. He broke his tooth. He can't talk on the radio. Come on.
Hey, we weren't going to pay him to talk anyway. We were just going to pay him to look pretty.
That's all I hired him for.
That's right. So he could have done that. I don't know.
You know, I'm sure if Pepper broke a tooth, she would still be here. She would be here if she broke a tooth.
She's clearly the stronger of the two.
You know what I think it is? It's the
No,
foreign.
no. I think you guys are giving Ko a bad rap. I'm pretty sure Pepper was the host today, and Ko was next week.
Did we have it backwards?
Oh, we may have.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter
I
because
was
she's still
sympathetic
clearly
to
the
her breaking
stronger
her
of the two.
tooth, but
Oh, okay. All right. Then,
I've broken plenty, but I did tell her that I'm old, so that happens.
Yeah, but that was when you were biting the tops off beer balls.
yeah, you know you're old when you're starting to eat applesauce and you see they're still breaking off.
Yeah, getting old ain't easy.
Nope. But it's fun.
It's not for
but
the
it's
weak.
fun.
It's not for sissies.
Nope.
So, Mongo, you tell us a little bit about coordinating with Coyote of Blue Deos out there in Albuquerque, and kind of give our listeners something to look forward to next week, because we were talking. I don't know if you heard it or not, but we were mentioning earlier what you got going on, and we're pretty excited about this.
Yeah, no, I actually haven't been watching. I knew you guys were on, but I was pushing the cart up to my room to get all my junk in here. So I talked to Coyote last week, and I told him that I would call him today when I knew what my drive time was from Kingman, Arizona, back to the casino in Albuquerque. And I've got the drive time figured out, but of course there's the time change, but I'm pretty sure I'll get it. But so I'm going to call him today and find out what time he and all his guys can be there. And then I will meet him there. Apparently there's an Irish pub inside the casino, so he wants to do it inside the Irish pub.
Nice.
We'll get the Preacher from Ireland on FaceTime on one phone, and then I'll get the new chapter members on 99% Radio Network live feed on my iPad. Talk to them a little bit, and then we'll get the Preacher's got a little swearing in he's got set up already, and we'll get that taken care of. And then I'm sure that the new chapter of Blue Deos and I will probably enjoy a beer before I'm back on the road heading out to Kingman for the night.
All right. I mean that's going to be an epic event. Keep us informed this way. We make sure that everybody's listening and watching in for that patch in.
So, do you know where this is going to take place? I didn't catch where you said it was going to take place.
Where's it going to take place? There's an Irish pub inside the Indian Casino. That's the big casino that's just about 10 miles west of Albuquerque on the 40.
Oh, very well. That's cool.
All right.
There's when Preacher told us that the new president of Blue Deos in Albuquerque was going to be is Coyote, I told Preacher, I go, that is perfect. I said, what a perfect name for somebody out in the Arizona or the New Mexico desert with all the other mesas. And he laughed, and then 12's response was, you guys are aware of the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour? The Preacher goes, it's just another country. We're not another planet. We have cartoons here. But I told, when I was talking to Coyote, because he's an LE, I said, dude, you need to contact DMV and find out if the motorcycle plate with the letters ACME are taken, because if they aren't, it would be worth the money to get those plates for your bike. I said, because nothing better than Coyote riding on Acme products throughout that desert.
That's pretty good.
I like that. I like that a lot, man. That would be fun.
I hope it's available for him, because that'd just be perfect, because his name is perfect.
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Well, we're glad you made it out there safely. Enjoy that grandbaby, and give my love to your children. Tell them I'm very excited for them, and tell them that stick figure picture you had to post is not cutting it. We need some real color photography.
Well, I've actually got a picture of me holding my grandson, but unfortunately I can't post it because they're keeping him off of social media. So I'll be able to pass it around when I get back up there.
Very
All
good.
right. All right, brother. Will you?
I'm in enemy territory right now out in California. So I'm looking forward to returning to the Republic.
Hey, are you enjoying paying that $5 a gallon gas out there?
I got lucky because I filled up in Arizona before I left. And although it was a little more expensive I paid $1.99 when I left Texas. And it slowly, incrementally went up as I crossed westward. I think I filled up this morning for 245, which wasn't horrible. And then I made my only gas stop in California, just outside of Barstow, and I actually got the gas for $3.95, which I thought, oh, that's not bad, $3.95. Because when I got to Valencia, it's $4.55. Okay. So I've still got a half a tank of gas. So hopefully I can run it back to Barstow before I have to fill up again, before I start getting cheaper gas prices. But yeah, it's expensive out here.
Well, all right, brother, be safe. Enjoy your family, and we look forward to hearing from you next week when you facilitate the patch-in of the brand spanking new Blue Deos chapter in Albuquerque.
And that was Mongo.
See you, brother.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good day.
So I don't know if you all see it or not. Gurjit Sidhu is on here. He said say hello.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
John Walsh from
Omega, Gamma,
Gamma,
Delta,
Delta,
Iota. In Grapevine. That's right.
That's right, in Grapevine.
So
John, glad you could join us.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Sikhs. Let's talk about when we talk about diversity and challenges. I think you guys made a great step in what Sadeeb did and becoming law enforcement. And we talk about perception a lot. We talk about not only do bikers get looked at in a different way because of how we dress with leathers. You guys are probably more – people probably look at you a lot differently because of your culture, correct?
Sure.
Now, how hard is that? I mean, you guys broke down a lot of barriers, which we're so grateful for. And the perseverance that you guys have to do that is honorable. How hard? And how hard, like, what are you still looking to do?
Well, anything worth achieving, you have to struggle for.
Right.
And that's regardless of, your background, your culture, your ethnicity, or just your pay scale,
right?
Or your education. So we feel that for a Sikh, turban is an integral part of our faith. Mm-hmm. And, Sandeep knew that. And for you to live your full life, to your full being, to your full capacity, if you're being hindered in some way, shape, or form, then you can't. You just can't do that. So even as a youth, and bullying, man, it knows no bounds. If you wear glasses, you get bullied. If you're skinny, you get bullied. If you're a little chubby, you get bullied. If you're too tall, you get bullied. And for my case, it was because I had a turban.
Right.
And I wore glasses, and I was skinny.
So you had a whole bunch of stuff going against you.
I checked a lot of the boxes. Yeah.
So you went to school here in America?
I went to school in Garland, Texas.
In Garland, Texas.
Yes, sir. Elementary school was Wanaglen Academy, was Bradfield Elementary School, and middle school was Jackson, and high school was North Garland High School.
Okay, now you wore your turban throughout school?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
At what age do young Sikh males start wearing the turban?
So there's not an age requirement. Typically, when you're a little younger and unable to tie the turban yourself, it's typically like a bandana type, where it would be a top knot. And as you slowly progress,
does it look like a man bun?
Someone looks like a man bun. Yes,
yeah, man bun. Yeah.
Man bun, right on top, and you tie it up. But so my son is 11 years old, and he was in 3rd grade or 2nd grade, and he said, "You know what, man? I don't like this. I want to wear my turban." So he's been wearing his turban, and when I started wearing it in high school, man, so he far outclassed me in that respect, right? And so there's no stipulation in terms of age or requirement, or there's not a orientation, if you will.
Right. It's a pride. It's a pride thing, and when you're able to do it.
Absolutely, and when a child feels comfortable in his or her own skin to say that, I'm going to take the next step up or what have you. And but again, it's just the diligent practice day in and day out, and self-esteem is a huge part of it. I know that we were talking about bullying earlier, mm-hmm. and that's what a bully aims for, is to just derail your self-esteem.
Right, and especially at that age, when you're going to be looked at as different,
yes,
because of the turban, and especially in school, kids can be so cruel, and I think it's because of maybe of lack of education,
yes,
on or being naive and not knowing what it represents.
And sometimes, it's just the fear of the other.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't seen or interacted with or just touched base with or, even talked to
Right.
an individual from maybe a certain race or religion or background.
Right.
You know, it could be, and it's not just always, race. A lot of times people are afraid to speak to somebody of a different educational background.
Yep.
Right. You just feel you will not mix, or your wavelengths.
You feel inferior.
You feel inferior, or sometimes, unfortunately, you may feel superior.
Right.
Right.
Depending.
That your wavelengths will not mix. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that we all worship the Creator who created a creation.
Right.
So if we choose to worship the Creator, we have to appreciate His creation. I can't nitpick and say, well, I don't like this guy, I don't like this guy. Well, you know what? If he was not, if it was not to be liked, then the Almighty wouldn't have created him or her.
Right.
The Almighty knows a little bit more than I do, and knows a little bit more than every one of us, right? So at the end of the day, I think the baseline is humanity, is of doing just, of doing good. And I think if we interact with that, because I think all faiths preach that at the end of the day.
One thing I wanted to mention, I first met Sikh Riders of America a few years back. I met Rahman and I was exchanging messages with Gurjit, and I met them through Jimbo.
Okay,
the Countryman.
Yep.
He introduced us, and I was interested right away because I'm interested in educating myself about different cultures and whatnot. And I will say this: the ride that you all put on is one of the best I have ever been on. The food is killer.
I appreciate that.
Thank
The
you.
first year that I went,
you.
you had people dressed in I don't know what the word is, but in
Cultural dress, yeah.
cultural dress. That's
Yeah,
it.
cultural.
And they were dancing and
Yeah.
doing things that reflect your heritage and whatnot.
Heritage, yeah.
It was very cool. It was very, very cool. But I can't remember whether it was Gurjit or Rahman that sent me some stuff about the history of the Sikhs when starting in India, and probably what a lot of people don't know is just how persecuted they were
Absolutely.
by other faiths. I
Oh,
guess,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
just
yeah.
leave it at that. I'm not going to throw
Yeah,
shade
yeah.
at anybody, but they were killed
Yeah.
Right.
in the worst way, much like the Nazis persecuted the Jews.
Right,
I guess
right,
is
right,
a good
right.
way of putting it in some historical context.
And to add to that is, hi listeners, everybody. I'm from Sikh Riders. This organization was formed on basis of 2012. The shooting happened in Wisconsin, Oak Creek Sikh Temple, because of the mistaken identity and lack of knowledge. They thought like we are not what they thought. So for that we formed this non-profit organization to go in the mass media, tell them who we are, because 99% people in the US who wear turbans are Sikhs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See that now you educated me because I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Absolutely.
What caught my attention after learning about what had happened to them culturally is that, and just to use Dallas as an example, and I'm sure it's been repeated across the country, probably in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So when I met these guys, you see some of these groups that have suffered some historical persecution. And instead of rising above it and making themselves stronger, they complain about, oh, woe is me, how you persecute me because of this or
Right.
because of that. The state of Israel decided that instead of going to the gas chambers, they made themselves strong and don't mess with us or we'll kick your ass.
Right.
They have respect because of their actions. And the Sikh Riders of America have my respect, and I'm pretty sure they have Jimbo's respect and other people's respect, because instead of whining and complaining about, oh, woe is us because of this or that, they've made themselves into this, in my opinion, a first-class organization that's dedicated to helping people. And so they've taken all the adversity of their history, put it together, and decided to turn it into something good that contributes something good to society. And
Right.
so they're out here raising money. They
In like 4 or 5 years, we have done 140,000 charities. Yeah, and it takes like 60 to 70,000 to organize those. We do it for fallen heroes or first responders. So then we go in the mass media so they can see who Sikhs are, rather
Right.
than being mistaken identity.
Right. So people don't perceive you differently.
And because we are the one who were targeted because of our identity.
Right.
So 99% people in US wear turban are Sikhs. Other country, yeah, they are like others. But in US, mostly are Sikhs who wear turbans.
Well, what you just said, I'm going to mess up your name. I'm sorry.
Gurvinder.
Gurvinder.
As long
Gurvinder, I'm
as
sorry.
long as it's with love, man, I'm good.
Gurvinder, what you turned around and just said about humanity and everything else,
Yes.
and that's how we have to look at each other. And
No question.
I just want to. I'm just going to rewind to this weekend with the Dallas game, okay? Where not a big fan of Ellen. Sorry, not a big fan of Ellen, but she's gained so much of my respect this week because she sat next to George Bush, and she took a lot of backlash about sitting next to George Bush because he's a Republican and she is a gay liberal from California, But she came back out at those haters, and she said exactly what you just said. If everybody would just stop with the the diversity and love each other and just be humane to each other, right? We can grow as a nation. We can grow as people, as God wanted us to.
And it's about destroying stereotypes, right? So with Sikh Riders of America, it's first of all you have an individual in a turban getting on a motorbike with leather, and he's going down the street.
Right.
So that's just multiple stereotypes that we're just trying to eliminate.
Which you're breaking. You're breaking that stereotype every day.
And it has to be done.
So what's cool though? This is just a visual that I noticed from my time riding with these guys. Is there's a couple of guys, a couple of these Sikhs. They look like somebody out of a movie. Like a. Almost said the F word. Like a warrior, right? I mean, big, huge, muscle-bound guys, and he's got a real. The one guy, he rides an Indian, and I think it's that kind of light green and tan.
How typical is that?
No,
he rides an Indian.
He rides an Indian motorcycle, but he's got the beard that kind of flares off to the side. And then there was a guy kind of like him, but he's riding one of those little Nortons, like the 175cc, and you got this big muscle-bound guy that looks like
twins,
Arnold.
like twins,
like twins. And then the guy next to him riding the little 175, like it's hilarious.
Sight to behold, right?
It is a sight to behold. But these guys are great because they have elevated themselves up to make these contributions in the DFW and all across America, everywhere they are. You see them doing good works. But I want to ask you, Paul, when you guys have done 5 now, right here,
Yes.
rides in DFW. When you did your very first one, and
Paul, just get a little closer to the mic. We'll bring the mic closer to you. You can pull it down to you. Yep.
When you all first started with that ride, what were the perceptions? Did you have some hurdles to overcome? As you were trying to attract other clubs to come in.
Yeah, in the first ride, we remember we didn't had much response, and we were trying to get in touch with the city to get a patrolling or escorting us, so that way we don't hinder the traffic and all that, because we were new over here. So first ride, we were only, I think, 50, 60 bikes, but they are mostly Sikhs. We didn't had any, because we didn't have the contacts and the links to go with the other groups and all that. So yeah, it was a journey. We started very low, but every year we kept growing, and then City of Irving hold our hand. They started escorting us for like 2 years now, 3 years. So we give them a charity, but it's a nice ride. Now that you have seen it, they escort us. So people, as you know, it takes time to know.
Yeah.
So first year was very, but it was not that bad. And slowly it grew up. And last ride, we had almost 150, 200 bikes, I think.
And next year will probably be better.
Yeah, we went to Stoker's, and it was like jam-packed over there. So we wanted to go to mass media, the actual where all the people are, so they know what Sikhs are, rather than just going to our Sikh temples only. They already know who we are.
Right.
So our motto was, Sikh Rider of America was to go in normal public, the other public, where they don't know who Sikhs are.
Right.
Because Sikh temple, they already know who Sikhs are. So our motto was
just
to go
integrate.
in public, integrate with the people and with the groups like you, and know, and one person can tell 5 people, 5 to 20, and that's how. And now Sandeep Dhariwal, man, he did a candle to the light, man. He did so good. Everybody now kind of awareness that who Sikhs are.
Well, what I like is another thing you just said. You said the first year was discouraging because you only had 50, 60 bikes, and but your perseverance. You said, "Hey, listen, we're not gonna give up."
Yes,
and you grew for the next year and the year after that and the year after that, and soon you're gonna feel that, hey, this is now, we're at our plateau where we want to be.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, Sadib, personally, only from what I read in the paper. He broke those same barriers with the
Yes.
Harris County Deputy
Yes.
Office as well. And I think they are also doing this in New York City. I'm not too sure, but I think that barrier has been broken down as well,
Yes.
where they're allowed to wear their turbans on
Yes.
patrol.
Yes.
Okay.
In New York, they actually have a Sikh New York Police Department organization.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mostly people didn't knew it when they showed up. This Houston, like how many Sikh are in first responders. It was
Yeah.
amazing to see all that, all over the United States. Even Canada came up, and people could see, oh, there are so many Sikhs. I mean, for us even was surprised.
You were
that So many
surprised.
Sikhs are in the police officer. I
I
mean,
mean, it was like a central gathering.
yeah.
Oh,
central
okay.
gathering, Yeah.
It's good that you said that, because one of the other things that I like about them, I'm all about assimilation. You know, if you immigrate to this country, learn to speak the language, learn the history, learn the culture, learn the traditions, assimilate. It's okay to be proud of who you are. It's
Yeah.
okay to celebrate who you are. And, you know, when we go on the Sikh ride, there's plenty of celebration of all things Sikh, right? I mean, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's educational for, you know, a
Right.
redneck from Texas like me. It's great.
Right.
It really is. It opens your mind to all kinds of different things. But it's hard to find people like Sandeep. He joined the Harris County Sheriff's Department. You know, he served his community. He was a warrior. He gave his life in the service of his county, of Harris
Right,
County.
and like back in the day when I was a cop in New York, in the early '90s, and up till 2000, you know, you didn't have that. You didn't have. I'm glad to see that we've progressed to a point where we're now not shunning anybody and
Well,
allowing
the fact
people
that
and allowing them,
nobody even blinks anymore. If
because it becomes the norm.
it's the norm,
Yeah.
because
It
you're
becomes the
celebrating
norm.
your heritage, but you also celebrate the 4th of July, the fact that you're an American and you live in the greatest country in the world, and you can celebrate that, and you can celebrate who you are as a Sikh.
Yeah, and you know that comes back to the fact about the persecution, right? So we see that a lot of Sikhs have migrated to the states because of persecution, even concurrently occurring in India. And when we see the rights and the privileges and just the blessing it is to be in the United States, you know, that's so appreciative.
right.
Right, is the fact that, in fact, the reason that Sikhs have started to get into law enforcement in bigger numbers now is because just the fear of it previously. Because where we're coming from, law enforcement is used to, you know, suppress, you know, and to commit heinous acts.
Okay.
So, you know, you're fearful of law enforcement instead of being respectful of law enforcement. So
Right.
I just wanted to
yeah.
show you this tag. Can you sort of?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can explain what this is.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
They can see it.
They can see it. Yep,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
on there.
Yeah. So
If you wanna raise it a little higher, you
Raise
can.
it up a little higher. There we go.
Just move the microphone out of the way. Just push that mic out of the way.
Yeah.
Move it out of the way. There you go.
There you go.
There.
Now
You
let's
can tell the symbol.
And everybody knows what that is, right? Indian motorcycle sign right there.
Yes.
So that the emblem in the center is called a khanda. In our
A what?
faith, is called a khanda.
Akunda.
A khanda. So if you see it, it's two swords, and then you have a chakar, which is a center, which was typically worn around the turban to deflect from head strikes when
Okay.
you were in the battlefield. So you'd wear around your turban, and if somebody's trying to, strike towards your head or your body, it would deflect it. And in the center is actually what is the khanda itself. So it's a large weapon as well. So it's actually a multitude of weapons that have been conformed to give the shape of our khanda,
Okay.
which is so if you see this emblem, you will know that see it on cars sometimes. You'll see it on shirts a lot of times, and it's just like a cross is for a Christian.
Right.
Khanda is akin to that for a Sikh.
And,
Okay.
and look what's behind it.
Yeah,
The
you see
American
regular-
flag.
American flag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is that we were discussing for law enforcement once again, because for the Sikh community, a huge part of our faith is about being a saint soldier. It's called Sant Sipahi in our faith. So meaning that you have to be a warrior for good. You have to be a warrior for change, positive change, and you have to be a warrior for your community.
Okay.
But you have to be a saint in terms of your demeanor, in terms of the way you carry yourself, right? You cannot boast. but you have to. So it's like a servant leader
Right.
type of aspect to it.
Yep.
And so that's why law enforcement comes natural. Military comes
We're
natural.
getting a phone call. Excuse me one second.
Sure.
Sorry. We just did.
Hello, caller. You're on the 99% Radio Network. Who do we got here?
You got Big Love in Memphis, Tennessee with Invictus LEMC.
What's going on there, Big Love?
Man, it's beautiful weather. I wish I had my scooter here. We should be riding. It's nice and cool.
Are you enjoying some of that? We were talking earlier. I don't know if you heard or not, but we were talking about you're probably up there teaching them how to barbecue.
Well, their barbecue, I still think I make better Texas barbecue. But no, I was here working, and we just came back from our national rally in San Antonio and saw that you guys were on. I thought I'd call in and tell you guys hello and see how y'all are doing.
Appreciate that. I wanted to. I'm glad you brought that up. I saw a picture and I posted it on the 99% Radio Network page. It's one of the greatest pictures I have ever seen posted, and it kind of goes together with what we're talking about.
We're here with the Sikhs.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to an area where it's not so loud. Go ahead.
I saw.
What was the picture?
The picture that y'all posted it. I don't know which chapter or who all was involved. All I could see was the Invictus back patches, but it was a large group of your brothers with hands clasped, heads bowed, obviously in prayer or a moment of silence. Either way, that picture to me, I thought, embodied everything about brotherhood that there is to embody. It just spoke volumes to me, and I thought that was a great picture.
I saw that picture.
It was awesome. For me, it's about what brotherhood is all about: being able to humble yourself in front of your brothers, being stronger with your brothers than you are by yourself. There was all kinds of statements that picture made for me, but I appreciate y'all posting them. They were great.
Absolutely, yeah. That was me leading the group in prayer before our ride, and basically all things are possible through Christ who gives us strength. And, if you're not following that guy, then you need to maybe take a look at the direction that you're going. So absolutely, we ride together, we pray together, we barbecue together, hang out, and enjoy everything that God, the ultimate provider, has given us to see and enjoy. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for saying that. So, have you come over yet, Big Love?
Yeah, I did. I was on your second show.
No. I mean on the Sikh Riders charity rides that they have in May. Isn't it May, Paul, that we do it?
Yeah, I mean, we did it
I have.
Was it earlier this year?
Yeah, earlier this year in March, yeah.
You can bring it down a little bit.
We would love to. We have not, but that would be something we would love to.
Next year, we'll make sure that that they get the word out to Invictus. It's a great charity ride. It ended up over at Strokers this year, and there was 250, 300 bikes total there.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
And bring some barbecue, man, please.
Yeah.
I've
No,
heard
he
about
needs
it
to
one too many
he
times.
needs to have us over to his house, their clubhouse, and have some barbecue over there in Fort Worth.
Hey, everybody's welcome. We love on everybody.
Thank you.
Well, hey guys, I appreciate what y'all are doing. Yeah, and keep spreading the good word and keep bringing quality brothers and sisters together. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Love you too, Big Love. Thank
right.
you much for
Take
calling
care,
in.
brother.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right.
See you, bud. How do I hang up on him? It disappeared. Is that it?
Yeah,
There we go. All right. Good deal.
So, getting back to what you were saying. You were talking about the cross. You were talking about before we were
Yes,
interrupted.
Yes, by law enforcement.
By
So,
law enforcement.
with the ideals of Sant Sipahi, meaning that you don't just live for yourself, you live for your community. So we don't believe in being an ascetic where, many times you will be, well, if I'm a man of God, I'm going to stay inside, I'm just going to pray, or I'm going to go in the mountains and get away from the world. We believe that to be a man of God or a woman of God, it is to live amongst the community.
Correct.
And to make sure that you do substantive good within the community. So a major part of our faith is also known as seva, which means selfless service. So, with Sikh Riders of America, with the rides for the fallen law enforcement officers, with United Sikhs with the multiple disaster relief missions. And so that is something that is inherently within our faith. And if you were to go to any gurdwara,
What is that?
Gurdwara, which is our place of worship and
Okay.
learning. So, you know, you spoke about the
He
great
thought
food.
you said Budwarda. I perked up his ears.
Like where? Where? I want to go.
You know, you're welcome over there as well, but definitely the Gurdwara. So it's our place of worship and learning for the Sikh community. And you spoke about the great food, 12. So on the ride, so langar is inherently a part of our faith, which means community kitchen. So anybody is welcome to partake in langar. It does not matter your age, does not matter your sex, does not matter your education, does not matter your faith. You can like me or just dislike me. You know, be like,
Right.
man, I don't want to see this guy in my life again. You will be welcomed with open arms. And the only request is in a gurdwara that you would just cover your head. So we have bandanas and so forth.
Okay.
And you would take off your
That's
shoes.
another question that I'm going to remind
Yes,
me I
sir.
got to ask you.
Yes, sir. And that is it. And you will be treated just as anyone else. Everyone is seated on the floor, and everybody is served a meal. And you get to eat as much or as little as you wish. You get to pick and choose, you know, what you would like. There's lentils, there's rice, there's bread, there's salad, there's sweets. And if it's something that if you were to go to a restaurant, a South Asian restaurant, you pay a good $20 to $25 per plate for.
Right.
And it's completely free. There are no conditions. There are no stipulations.
And this is every
Gurdwara.
when is that?
Every day.
Oh, that's every day.
Every day. But, you know, the greatest gathering of congregants is going to be typically on a Friday evening because of our schedule, right? Everyone works Monday through Friday, so Friday evenings is
I'd love
is
to
a
come.
great
I'd,
gathering.
I'd really love to come and experience that.
Yeah.
And Sunday morning to afternoon is
I would
really gonna
love
be
to
when
really
we have
come
We
and
have a
experience
regular
that.
in
5,000.
Euless. We have
Yeah.
Gurdwara in Euless.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm not too far. I'm right in Hearst.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll send you the
Absolutely.
address. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have a rule, right? That if say a sideshow's hungry and he's homeless, passing down the
Yes,
street,
yes.
and he comes to your place of worship and goes into that, you all will feed him, right?
Yeah,
No, no
it's
question.
like the rule.
No question. No question.
well,
so, yes, please.
I'm going to ask a question, and like I said, I'm real naive to your culture, so please don't take it. You know,
And I went to
all right.
middle school and high school, so I've heard it all, bro.
The lone survivor, Michael Cottrell, Marcus Luttrell. Okay, when he was brought in after he had to fight with the Taliban, and he was brought in by a family. He was brought in by a community of people that you're saying that, you know, as much as we hate you, we have to bring you in, we have to serve you, we have to protect you, we have to, you know, aid you. Was that Sikh? Was that the same?
He was taken
thing?
in by a Muslim community. over
Muslim
there, wasn't
community, yes.
Sikh.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
But
yes.
same type of thing.
Same type of
Same type of principles.
It would be a principle. So in Afghanistan, the Taliban has, if you enter their home, it doesn't matter if you've been fighting like literally right outside the door.
Right.
If you enter the home, it's peace.
Okay.
In terms of a gurdwara, it is open and obviously in peacetime, obviously in wartime as well.
Right.
So it's not a question of whether we dislike you or do not like you. It's not even it's not even up to us.
Right.
It's a
Right.
matter of fact that you are in a gurdwara and you will be treated just as I am treated.
So it's a respect thing.
It
it's
is
a
absolutely
respect
respect
and
thing.
it's an honor thing.
And in
faith.
Gurdwara, the most, I guess, popular Gurdwara that's known the world over is the Golden Temple, is what we call Darbar Sahib, which is plated in gold in Amritsar. So it has a door on each side, meaning that there's 4 doors, meaning anybody from any corner of the earth, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, or what have you, is welcomed. And it is the largest serving of food in the world. Over 100,000 people on a daily basis partake in langar, which is a community kitchen in Darbar Sahib, which is the Golden Temple. And many of them are not Sikhs. They're Christians, they're Hindus, they're agnostics, they're atheists, they're students, there's homeless individuals. So Amritsar has been said to be the city where you have nobody that goes hungry because of Darbar Sahib. So if anybody literally is hungry,
There's
they
food
go
available.
there and
There's-
they are fed. But that is for every Gurdwara, but it's just on a massive scale at Darbar Sahib. Obviously, you know, with Euless, like my brother Paul Singh said, the Gurdwara is located. So you can go there anytime.
And it's
Right.
open.
It is open. It is open. Because of course, stipulations in the States,
Right.
It's not open 24 hours a day. At nighttime, it is not open. But during the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what have
Wow.
you, you're welcome any time of the day.
Oh, wow.
I guarantee you, the food is first class,
Well,
buddy.
yeah,
It is fantastic food.
I definitely want to go over there. I want to experience it. I want to see. And you know what?
No, we
this
would
way,
appreciate it.
This way,
Absolutely.
I can bring. I could bring this out too as a person who's experienced it and said, hey, look at this,
Absolutely.
and help you break down those walls and help
Absolutely.
break you down that perception.
Absolutely.
But what I was getting back to with when you say you got to cover your head,
Yes.
all right, like you go into a Jewish temple, you got to cover your head with the yarmulke,
Yarmulke,
and
yes.
you're talking about like you got to do with a bandana. Now this is going to sound silly, but when I first came to Texas, I learned about cowboy hats, and I learned each cowboy hat meant something different.
Yeah.
With if it was made out of something different, or if it was bent in its.
I'm going to learn something today, so yeah, please.
Right?
Please.
Every cowboy hat meant something different. So with the turbans, are they chosen? Are they different? Do seniors, like the elders, wear different turbans than a younger generation? Are there colors or?
No, it's mostly preference, right?
It's preference.
A lot of times what you will do is you will color coordinate with your clothing.
Okay.
Right, and obviously the turban I'm wearing, everybody, because it's circular.
Right.
A lot of times what you see, turbans are triangular a little bit, And
is there a different meaning in each, or it's just preference?
It's just preference. In fact,
It's just a style, different.
Oh, it's a
style.
style. Okay.
In fact, the regions of Punjab, which the Sikh community originates from, there are certain styles like from a certain city or from a certain region, and
Okay.
they're made popular, and then you try out different, what looks good on my head,
And
looks
what's
good
comfortable with you, right?
and
Okay,
what's
okay.
comfortable.
And what's comfortable?
The main thing is that you're donning the garb of our guru, of our faith,
Right.
of our identity. So in terms of the color, and there's some significant religious colors, that for example, if you have a religious gathering, sometimes you'll wear it's like a royal bluish and a saffron type color.
Okay.
But it's nothing. It's not anything that is spectacular on one wavelength or the other in terms of, hey, you got to wear this color, you got to wear this style.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
And the answer is to you is no. There's nothing difference.
There's no
absolutely.
difference.
Like
There's
a
no-
cowboy head, no.
Because I've always, you see different styles, you see different
Yeah.
types, and I've always wondered,
It's just
Um,
a style.
do they represent different things or different parts of the community or different, age groups? Because certain elders wear certain different, especially in the if you look at the Hasidic Jewish community, they wear different garb because of their status either in the
Yes.
community,
Yes, in the community, yes.
or if they're a rabbi or what,
Sure.
they wear different things. And
No,
so
it's
now
just-
you clarified
man,
it. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
It's just preference.
All right,
It's just
perfect,
preference.
perfect. I appreciate you
Yeah.
explaining
Yeah.
that. That's good.
No, no
That's-
problem.
Back in the day in New York, when you put on your three-piece snakeskin suit, and your pointy black shiny shoes.
yeah, with the velour vest. Yeah.
With a beret?
I didn't go that far. All right. So, we're going to have to break for a commercial, but when we get back, what I want to discuss is we discussed some of your religion. We discussed the Sikhs. Now I want to discuss Sadib and how he broke down the barriers in the Harris County Deputy's office and really paved the way for others to really follow in his footsteps.
Sure.
So, once again, you listen to the 99% Radio Network here on the Fishbowl Radio Network studio here in Arlington, Texas. You're listening to 12 and Sideshow, and we're here with the Sikh Riders of America, educating ourselves. I'm not even going to pronounce his name again.
United Sikhs.
United Sikhs. So please stay tuned because we got a lot more good stuff coming up right after this.
If you're an avid reader, love books, or want to become a published author, jump into the Mackenzie Stewart Show, Fridays 4 to 5 Central Standard Time. In the Gray Stream, Mackenzie interviews authors, reviews books, and has in-depth discussions with published authors, giving you great tips and advice. Don't miss The Writer's Edge, Fridays 4 to 5 Central Standard Time. In the Gray Bowl with your host, Mackenzie Stewart on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Are you looking for the hottest music, topics, and trends? Then you've come to the right spot. Fishbowl Radio Network or FBRN.US. Right now, you're tuned into the largest personality-driven internet radio station. Check out the green, red, blue, or gray stream and jump in.
Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like.
Attention golfers,
It's time to hit the course for some fun and prizes. It's the 6th annual Golfing for Grads tournament, September 14th at the Riverside Golf Club in Grand Prairie, Texas. Whether you're a PGA pro level or just getting into the game, the Golfing for Grads tournament has something for everyone. Awards and prizes will be given for several categories, including male, female single players, and co-ed teams. So practice that swing and hit the course with us. The 6th annual Golfing for Grads tournament, benefiting the Turner 12 organization. September 14th, Riverside Golf Club in Grand Prairie, Texas. For more information, call or text Kathy Mitchell at 214-564-0501 or go on eventbrite.com. Type in Golfing for Grads in the events column to register. Golfing for Grads, September 14th at the Riverside Golf Club in Grand Prairie, Texas. We'll see you there.
But yeah, I went from control, and I worked in a real diverse community where
Share your voice, opinions, creativity, ideas, music. FBRN.US, Fishbowl Radio Network. Jump in.
I'm sorry, but I'm just a girl, not usually the kind to show my heart to the world. I'm pretty good at keeping it.
Hey brothers, this is Big Love. Wanted to give a shout out to 99% Radio Network.
Hi, this is Boone, president of Deadweight Chapter of the Southern Dogs. You're listening to 99% Radio Network here on Fishbowl Radio Network.
This is Sergeant Ryan Edwards, United States Marine Corps, and you're listening to 99% Radio Network Live. Hoorah!
And we're back with the 99% Radio Network here at Fishbowl Radio Network Studios in Arlington, Texas. And we got the United Sikh Riders of America here with us, and you're listening to Mongo. Mongo's not here. You're listening to Sideshow and 12.
Mongo's listening to us.
Mongo's listening to us over in California. So if you missed the beginning of this show, I suggest you check it out on the podcast because it was an amazing educational experience to learn so much about the Sikh faith, and it opened up my eyes, my one eye anyway. It opened up my eyes to a lot of cultural differences, and I really, I'm so honored that you guys brought that up to us, and you really schooled us in what you guys are all about.
We thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah. and that's what we're all about, man. We want to bring everybody together, and like you said, it's humanity, it's faith, and even though we may look different, we may have different backgrounds, we may have different cultures, and even pray to a different God or not pray to God at all. Yeah. Okay, we have to still treat each of God's creatures or us on earth as human beings. It doesn't matter.
Well said. Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. So we're going to get back to Sadib, who is the Harris County deputy who was mortally shot and killed 2 weeks ago.
September 27th.
September 27th here in Texas. And he broke down a lot of barriers and by being able to wear his turban to work, to be able to share his cultural background with the community that he served, which is got to be such an honor for him to be able to be in the law enforcement field and be able to express his faith, which I think is wonderful. So tell us a little bit about Sandeep.
So Sandeep was just an amazing individual, and we had interacted sporadically prior to, but especially I met him during Hurricane Harvey relief efforts. But we do know that in 2015, when he won the right to wear his turban, it was just a moment of gratification. It's validation for us that, hey, man, we are on par with anybody and everybody.
How long did he fight? He was allowed to start doing it in 2015. How long was the fight prior to that? Do you know?
About 4 years.
4 years.
4 years, and he was very diligent. he kept at it every day. I mean, there was so many naysayers, within the department.
Yep, of course.
Obviously within the community. Like, hey, why don't you just give up? Or what are you even trying to achieve? Is this going to be even worth it? But, man, he was focused. He said, this is something that I want to make sure that I'm able to leave a legacy for not only my children, but for my community.
But he paved a road. He paved such a good road for, because in law enforcement you need diversity. Okay, back in the 20s and 30s when you had nothing but Irish cops, you didn't even have Italian cops. You had it was all Irish, and now it's so diverse and the different cultures. You need that in the community. You need that in law enforcement.
Absolutely. And another thing, I'm going to relate it back to bullying, right? So when children see that, hey, there's a kid who has a turban in my school, but hey, man, there's a deputy out there, who has a turban.
Right.
So, these guys are protecting us. These guys are within the community. So maybe I need to give some respect, to my fellow classmates.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, everything is psychological.
Yep. And
right?
and kids perceive things like that, and
Absolutely.
they notice things like that. They'll when they see that, and because they may have asked that officer. They may have asked the, hey, why do you wear that on your head? And he probably
he used to say that every day. Kids had to turn around, and he said, "Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
You have question, I'll answer it." So he never used to shy away or say no. So they had questions for him, and he answered it.
And that's good because now, like you said, the kid goes to a bowling alley. He sees another younger kid, maybe his own age, with a turban. He knows what it's all about. He knows now, and maybe he'll show a little bit more respect.
Absolutely. And, that is what Sandeep wanted to do. He wanted to blaze a trail and show, anybody who would be hesitant or fearful of, being, having that pride within themselves to express themselves.
Right.
He said that, what, I'm going to be in the largest sheriff's department in the United States, and I will be a beacon of light for anybody and everybody. Not just of my community. I mean, this goes beyond race and ethnicity, right? It goes beyond for anybody who's in a shell or just fearful of really being themselves. That hey, if this young man can wear a turban in the Harris County Sheriff's Department, you know what? Maybe what I'm dealing with, I can overcome that as well.
Yeah.
So it just provides that boost of self-esteem, and but one amazing factor about Sandeep was the fact that he just didn't rest when he ascertained his victory. He didn't just go home and be like, I won my right to wear a turban. So, guys, I'm going to just lock up and go home.
Right.
He made sure that he lived each and every day. I mean, it becomes a cliche, but as if it was his last. He would go out and really patrol in the community. He would talk to neighbors. He would talk to community members. He would go to businesses and touch base and just interact and just make them feel wanted and appreciated. That, hey, I'm there for you.
Right, that's a man of strength right there, man. That's a man of strength.
No question, man. And like I said, I interacted with him on a personal level, you can say, especially during Hurricane Harvey when United Six launched a massive relief operation. And he, along with Sandeep Singh's basically leading the charge, over 35 18-wheelers of supplies were provided as part of the relief effort from all the way from California,
right,
Seattle, New Jersey. And then even on site, we loaded many more trailers of supplies. So and just to see him there each and every day, it was like, man, do you ever sleep? You're here in the morning, you're here at night, you're working your job, your day job.
Right. And he's got a family.
He has 3 young children. Right at that time, his children were rough. His son was 3 years old, and he would even bring his son with him. He's like, what? It's my job it's my duty to look after him today. But guess what, man? He's going to be riding shotgun with me, and we're going to run these relief missions.
Well, you know what? That also at 3 years old, you see your dad doing something good.
Absolutely.
Guess what? That is educating your kid. That's building good morale in your child.
And a lot of times, children especially will not listen to what you say, but they'll listen to what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can tell them, all the greatest things in the world. But if you're not actually implementing them in your life, this just really going to turn them off.
It's real easy to talk, but when they see you doing it, I want to follow in Dad's footsteps.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're looking at the Houston, at the stadium, how many people were there?
Over 10,000.
10,000 people for his funeral.
Yeah. Well, look, with his funeral, let's backtrack a little bit, and for our listeners that are not in Texas, that don't get the Texas news,
yes,
let's talk about what happened to Sadeep on that night, if you know.
Yes. So I would like to actually share a little bit more about his life,
Yep.
then we can go into that. So even during Hurricane Harvey, when we interacted, and he led the charge, he worked with the sheriff's department to make sure that his duties were in those areas which were impacted. And he even talked to his sergeants, and they allowed him. They're like, you know what, you're doing your relief work. What kind of better policing can there be than that? Right. Our city, our county submerged, and you're helping people get back to their daily lives.
Right.
And get back on their feet. So this is what his job became 24/7. And so when we had at the Sikh National Center, we had our base camp where all the supplies were being loaded and unloaded. He was the man that was just galvanizing and leading the charge, leading the youth. And we with the United States, because we've served in over 50 disasters worldwide, and so we put our resources and expertise together. But expertise, it can only go so far. You need someone to execute it.
Right.
And not just executing it, thinking of it as their job, but thinking of it as a higher calling. Because
to make a difference.
To make a difference.
Difference.
Because the job is 8 to 5, all right, or 9 to 5, right? And before that or after that, you're not really worried about it. But when you want to make a difference, when you want to make an impact, it doesn't start anytime. It doesn't
it's
stop.
It's here.
Anytime.
It's in your heart. It's a passion.
No doubt about it. So when he led that charge, and then he became, for United States, the Director of Homeland Security, he provided training at Gurdwaras. He provided Know Your Rights workshops. He provided training and career advice for many Sikh youth to get into law enforcement. And then he also led the charge for Hurricane Maria in Florida.
Huh.
He led a truckload of supplies to Florida. He went to Puerto Rico. He went to Puerto Rico with the ex-sheriff of Harris County, Mr. Adrian Garcia, right? And then he went to his ancestral village in Punjab and led some cancer camps, opening up shops for the underprivileged who could not fend for themselves, to provide them a livelihood. So
he's like a Mother Teresa.
And so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. And he really lived his faith, because our faith again is about selfless service.
Right.
Right. It's about getting back to your community. Right. And then he felt that as a law enforcement officer, I am going to be serving and protecting my community. That is my way to give back, to make sure that I eliminate or prohibit harm from coming into my neighborhood. And I will watch guard over my neighbors. So, when we interacted with, when we were there in Houston, man, everyone he interacted with was just like, he had known them for years, even if it was the first time he was touching base with them.
Right.
So just a loving and caring individual who actually lived his ideals.
See, law enforcement, can't just be a job. Can't just be a 9-to-5 job. You have to take that to another. When you take that oath, you have to take it to another level, and on a caring level and a humanity level.
There's no day off,
and you have to live for it.
And you have to live it.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Well, I'm just here for a paycheck." Because you can't treat a community. That's like a doctor without bedside manners.
Yeah. Well said, absolutely.
You can't do that. You took an oath to care and protect and to aid the community that you work for. And it seems like he took it 3 levels above that, and really took that oath to heart.
And the thing is, as a Sikh male with a turban, right, you become an ambassador of the faith. So let's say that, the eyes are going to be glued on Sandeep for each and every action. So, the great things he does, obviously, they will be recognized. But if he slips up,
they're going to be recognized.
They're going to, not only will they be recognized, but they'll be like, for example, somebody like me just walks around, they're going to be like, you know what, that guy, these guys with turbans, man, watch out for him.
Right.
But he took it to such a level where if anybody like me walks in that city or in that neighborhood, we'll be elevated and just respected just for existing. Because we look similar to what Sandeep looked like, and I wear a turban to what Sandeep wears. So, and that again is a.
So he brought up your faith. He broke those barriers.
He broke
those barriers, showing that he took that perception of other people who may look at you differently and said, "No, that's not what this is all about. That's not what we are all about." Okay.
And just like Tuava said about Sikhs looking like warriors. In fact, our history speaks to that, where if anybody we've been persecuted, no question, but when anybody in and around where we are is persecuted, they would go looking for a Sikh for assistance. So they would, and there's sayings in in our language that call that to call that to bear. That if somebody needed assistance, they would go look and see, hey, there's a man with a turban. He's going to help me out.
Right.
Right. I'm being persecuted, or I'm being oppressed, or somebody.
Instead of running away, run towards.
Well, I'm being bullied. I'm going to go to that man right there.
Something I think that's important to point out here, and I think this is great, but people should know also that at some point in time, he raised his right hand and said, I swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and to obey all laws. And he took that oath, the same oath you took, same oath I took, and then he went out there and executed it to the best of his ability, while also wearing his turban and showing people his faith through his actions on duty and off duty. But that goes back to what I said earlier about someone, he didn't have a problem doing that, to raise his hand and take on all the responsibilities that come with that. He assimilated. He was an American hero.
And he did it, and he did it in such a way that he rose everything.
Yep.
He rose the respect in law enforcement. He broke down barriers in law enforcement and showed the community that, yes, I could still perform my duties, and I can school you in my culture.
Absolutely. And he felt that was inseparable, right? Because as we were speaking, for a Sikh to commit to being themselves, it has to be someone who is engaging in selfless service. It's somebody who has the saint soldier mindset, servant leader mindset. So again, it's not about what our faith talks about is not just talking it, but engaging,
living it.
So we have so if there's something we can kind of boil it down to about 3 golden rules, if you will, even though it's very elementary. It's not really fair for it, but it's to make sure that you earn your living through an honest means. It means Varnishakana, which what
is that?
Varnishakana, which means you share with the less fortunate, and you partake in something after you've given it to those in need. So, for example, if I have food, and I see somebody in need, I'm not gonna eat up my meal and, oh man, I got a few crumbs left over, here you go. I'm going to give you the meal. If there's something left over, then I will have it for myself. So it's and we have a apostle in terms of calling it daswand, which means 1/10 of your earnings or your talent or your time is also should be given to the community. So that comes with varnishakana, which means to share with those less fortunate. Kirtakarni, which means earn your living through an honest means. That I can't, I can't go out there and deal drugs and then with my money be like, oh, you know what, let me do some charity work.
Right. Now you say it's elementary. But you know what? You look at what's going on in our world today.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 simple rules to follow. We can't even follow those.
Yeah.
So
true.
And they're so basic.
Yeah.
So, if the listeners out there just spread that word, spread those 3 simple things, man, we'd have a better world.
There's no doubt about it, man. And then the other one is Nam Japanam, which means to meditate upon the Almighty continuously throughout your life. So and I would relate it to someone.
Is that like praying? You're talking you're like
praying.
Okay.
And someone's like, man, how can I pray to God all the time? Well, it's akin to if a mother has a newborn, and the newborn is with a babysitter, and the mother's at her job, or she's at work, or she's in her career, or she's traveling, guess what's in the back of her mind all the time?
She's worrying about
the newborn.
Right.
So at the back of your mind, you should always be thinking about the Creator who's blessed you with this opportunity to exist and be able to provide for yourself and your family, to make sure that you live your life according to His principles and His ideals.
I like that.
Keep that in the back of your mind.
I like that a lot.
One Sea Dog made a couple comments, and he said there's a reason for the oath. A job doesn't require one. And we all know that being a cop is more than just a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And it's the comment, a job doesn't require one.
Oh, I see, yeah.
It's clear that
it's more
with
than a
him,
job.
it's more than he lived his life as a police officer, as a deputy sheriff, and as a Sikh, and where they become, the lines become a little bit blurry there. He's walking his faith every day. He's doing his job every day. and it's not a job. It's a lifestyle. It
Right.
is what that's what you're describing. That was helping people and doing good for the community. Pretty much sums up who he was.
Right, but I like what he said is a job does not require an oath.
Yeah.
So you look at jobs that require oath. As a doctor, okay, you have to take that oath.
The Hippocratic oath, yes.
Yeah, the Hippocratic oath. As a military veteran, you have to take a sworn oath. As a firefighter, as a first responder,
Yes.
you have to take that oath. And it's all comes down to giving back to the community and providing a service of aid and protection to other people.
We should ask Koa about the fireman oath. Well, you might be able to know. Is it like you promised to you promised to roll out of bed when the alarm rings? You promised to wait on the police officers to clear the scene before you go in. I don't know what it entails. We have to ask them about
as a firefighter's oath, I think it comes right out of like the Betty Crocker handbook, where you have to learn how to cook.
You promise
So
to go to
you're-
Walmart
you gotta-
once a day to buy
right.
groceries. I mean,
But he's not listening to the show right now because he's not manning up because he's got a broken molar.
Oh, yeah,
he's
that's
got a
right.
broken molar, and he couldn't be here today. Actually, that was Pepper that has a broken molar. But
and you know how Sandeep started in law enforcement was he was actually in the trucking business and he had a pizza business, so he was doing well off. He was actually making more money, and he had
you don't go into law enforcement to
From-
make
from
money.
money.
You
So
certainly do not do it. so when the sheriff Garcia came to Gurdwara, and he addressed the congregation, and he said that you guys are always talking about us coming out and us reaching out to you, but how many of you guys have signed up to be a law enforcement official? And Sandeep told me that first I just took it, man, a guy just speaking, but he's like, man, I couldn't sleep that night. I'm thinking he challenged me. He came to our stage and he challenged me that why don't you step up?
right,
So he felt it as if it was a calling for him to
Okay.
join law enforcement, and then he joins law enforcement, and then he struggles and perseveres to win the right to wear his turban, and really carry that forward. And I'll tell you something else: he passed his examination to be a sergeant to get a promotion, but he would always delay it, and he would always tell us that, man, I haven't won the right to wear my turban so I can sit behind a desk. He's like, I want to make sure I'm in the community. So
Right.
again, he had an opportunity to get a pay raise. He had an opportunity to have, if some people's eyes, a
Status.
little bit easier of a job in
Right.
terms of you're in your office as opposed to being on the beat all day. But he took it at if I'm here to serve, I'm going to be in the community.
So did they posthumously promote him?
I'm not aware of that, to be honest with you.
which they should.
Yeah.
Maybe
They
they'll do
really,
the right
they
thing
really,
and
sh-
give
and
them
it's
that
great you
bump.
brought that up because they usually do that. In New York, I know that patrolmen, if they're killed in the line of duty, if they're an investigative patrolman, they will be bumped up to detective. So at least the widow gets some pay, some pension pay, or whatever it is. They should promote him.
And I'm thinking something along those lines will be there because the Harris County Sheriff's Department has shown us unbelievable
the Garcia,
respect
the
and
commissioner,
yeah.
So we have I'm going to take a little U-turn here real quick, if
Okay.
I can, do you mind? On this right here. We have a listener over in London, England. Are the Sikh Riders only in America, or are there chapters of Sikh Riders in other countries?
We don't have direct chapters like Canada has it. They call it Sikh Riders of Canada, but we are not associated with it. So we are not a chapters, but they are. But with different organization, they have their own organization.
Would there be Sikh Riders, say, for example, in England?
I know about
or
Canada,
in
but I don't
Europe?
know about
I
England.
would
But I
venture
know
to say there
Canada.
would be. I would venture to say
Yeah,
there
they would be. There's a Sikh Rider of Canada.
because they even have them in Punjab. Where
Yeah.
so I'm pretty certain they would have them in.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there
and we can provide you some information about finding out.
Okay,
Yeah.
and here's why I'm throwing this out there, because I know, the Sikh Riders of America here in DFW have been a big help to the show's sponsor, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center. We have one of our listeners. His name's Grant Priest over there in England, and he sent us a note earlier, and he sent us a reminder here about a constable there in England named Andrew Harper. And he said that he was responding to a burglary in progress, and when he arrived at the scene, as he was exiting his patrol vehicle, the crooks run him over with their car, and he was dragged into the vehicle, and he lost his life. and apparently he's having some. The system over there is so much different than it is here in America. The safety nets that we have and take for granted here, they're not the same there. But I'd like to throw out the challenge.
Well, they're doing what they're doing is called a ride of respect.
There you go.
Okay.
They're doing a ride of respect, and they're looking for donations to help pay for the motorcade, to help pay for the street closures, because obviously the city's not doing that for them. So they need money to get this rolling so they can raise funds for the family.
Is this in London itself?
This is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So, like we've always discussed, they don't carry guns. So I don't know, he was probably unarmed, trying to do his job and was dragged tragically.
And Grant says he was married for just 1 month.
Man.
And then was tragically killed.
Wow.
So.
Okay, so it's the Ride of Respect has been set up for PC Harper on the 27th of October. We are trying to raise money for the family and the police charity. John Salerno has all the details, which is me. He sent me.
Share them with us?
I'm sharing with them now. Okay. You could help donate, and remember, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take hundreds of dollars that you have to donate. If one person, if 100 people donate $5 or 1,000 people donate $1, that's all it takes. Mm-hmm. Just go to the PayPal account, which is VERNYAU14@gmail.com. And I'm going to post this on the 99% Radio page. And we're going to see how much money we can raise for Officer Harper and his family, and to get this ride of respect in motion, so they can pay for the motorcade, they can pay for the street closures, so they can give this officer the respect that he so well deserves.
So I just posted that PayPal account on the page there.
Okay.
If people are interested in helping out, and we were talking earlier, we've got quite a few listeners and followers in Europe now, England, Ireland, France, Belgium, Czech Republic, Poland, Ukraine, Italy, all over Italy. We've got a whole bunch in Italy now. If you guys are over there and you happen to be listening right now, and you can go on and maybe contact Grant Priest, you can find him on our Facebook page.
Yes.
I'm sure there's other people over there in Europe, the UK area that might
donate
know
$2.
him or whatever.
Donate $2.
Couple
$2.
bucks, and let's see if we can't come together as the 99% Radio Network, and let's take care of it.
Yeah, we've had some good success in this. So, Grant, we are very happy to help you out and help out Constable Andrew's family, Harper family. So, great.
Very good.
Awesome.
I didn't want to let that slide by.
No, that's great. That's great.
That was well needed, yeah.
So back to Sadib, breaking down the barriers and becoming a deputy constable. He was a family member. He was a family man who gave so much back to disaster relief. He gave back to his community. He even brought his 3-year-old son on some of his disaster relief projects to teach his son and to show. So he led by example.
Absolutely.
This was a man of honor. This was a man of integrity, and he was a man of faith. And he earned that respect, and that he was able to bring that faith into the Harris County Deputy's office, and he didn't do it by pressure. He did it by the way he probably spoke. I don't know the man, but it was a long road, 4 years before he was able to do that, and he broke down those barriers. But obviously somebody saw in him that this man knows what he's talking about. We have to give him the just respect that he deserves. So now, what happened on the 27th, the 21st?
27. So right before we get to that, if I could share
Okay.
one
Yep.
story
Oh,
with you.
sure. I'm sorry.
So when we were in Hurricane Harvey, and the United States works to make sure that in disaster relief, typically where base camps are set up is not where individuals really need the help, right? Because you have to go to them. So it was on the outskirts of Houston, cities like Rockport and League City. So League City, for particular, we went there, and he led with the motorcade, and even the precinct was pretty much submerged. It was non-functional, non-existent, if you will. And we were told by a sergeant, Sandeep, reached out to them, that one of the law enforcement officers, their roof was leaking. And the roof was leaking, and for some reason the insurance was not, either able to, or they were slow to, or because they were overwhelmed, they were not
able to get to it.
They were just not able to get to it at that time. But the roof was leaking, and this first responder was still out in the community helping out because he did not have the funds to repair his own roof, but yet he wanted to make sure he was able to help out others. But he was still living in that house.
Jesus.
So if you can imagine that. And Sandeep, we talk, and Sandeep's like, man, this can't happen. We can't let law enforcement officials or first responders, who are the ones that run in when everyone's running out, are the ones that, really step up in time of urgent need and care, who provide that. We cannot leave them, to fend for themselves. So
right.
He was coming up with a plan for first responders who are either injured or who fall in the line of duty, or who come up or who encounter a debilitating disease, for example, and do not have the resources or the funds to provide for themselves or help mitigate those losses, or just, get their family back on their feet.
Get through.
Get through. Just persevere.
Get through.
Right.
Yep.
And
because bills don't stop.
And I'm sure with your experience, you've seen it firsthand, right?
Yep.
And so we were working on that plan. And lo and behold, Sandeep passes away, and we're going to be launching it in his name and in his honor. It's actually known as the Hero Fund. It's Guru Nanak Hero Fund, which is our first founder of our faith, and in memory of Sandeep Singh Taliwal. And it's the Hero Fund stands for Honoring Emergency Response Officers.
Wow.
Right. So to make sure that we're able to locate, and we're going to be working with you guys, and hopefully we'll collaborate in terms of, for example, we see the law enforcement officer in England. So in terms of expanding our reach to see, where that need is, and make sure that Sandeep's vision and dream is able to come through.
So I have a challenge for you then, something for you to consider.
Sure.
All right. So we have a platform here. We can reach a lot of people, more every week around the world. I kind of wish Mongo was here right now, because if he was, he would be jumping all over this. So I'm going to have to do it for him.
He's too busy in Area 51.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out there.
He's storming 51.
He's wandering around lost. He has I bet he's wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Right now. Probably has antennas on it.
Well, I saw him in his pirate costume the other day, so I'm sure he's definitely dressed up with the big head.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, once he went over the Continental Divide, he probably had to switch. But Mongo...
Roxy will make a good alien, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roxy will definitely make a good alien.
I think I've heard Mongo say something about that. I don't know. Maybe I took it out of context.
I think they're probably in a desert role playing right now.
Probably. Well, I think actually she's on the plane, so I don't know. Mile High Club, I don't know.
So much love, man.
Yeah,
so much love.
Mongo's our brother. But
you got to add some humor to it.
He administers a program called Ion First Responders.
Okay.
And the purpose of this program is to go out into DFW, because that's where we are.
Sure.
And honor the service of police officers. When a law enforcement officer in Texas is killed, they receive the appropriate respect in most cases. And they have the large funeral and things pour in. We wanted to create a program where we honor their service before they pass away, while you can draw attention to them while they're alive. And I see, to be honest, a huge opportunity knocking right here because of the Sikh's heart for service, for this, what you're trying to do, this foundation or in Deputy Dhaliwal's honor. Those two things come together perfectly. And I think with what you all bring to the table and what Mongo's putting together, and he's not doing it alone, but he's administering it. We could, and what we bring to the table with the 99% Radio Network, we could get some stuff done. We could honor some officers.
Well, I'm going to bring up. You can answer that. You just tell them to stand by.
Caller, stand by for just a second.
And this is why I love when people come in here and we discuss this, because we have so many networking ideas and we have so many outreach things that we can do to raise funds and to raise awareness and to bring and give Sandeep his just due,
Sure.
right? So when you talk about families that have been affected and law enforcement that have to get by, okay, we have the Eye on First Responders, right? So we can always do the Eye on First Responders. You guys recommend an officer, right? And then we can give them that award and that package in Sadeeb's name from Eye on First Responders. Okay, that's one avenue we can take. I mean, we can do. The second avenue is I'm part of a group called Laughter Saves Lives. All right, where we're based out of New York. I brought it here into Texas, and we run comedy shows. All right, to raise funds for first responders and military personnel. And just for that, we give up $200 here, $300 here for, hey, go pay your car bill. Go pay your electric bill. Well, while you're recovering and stuff. So we were out there to try to help. Yeah. So we run comedy shows throughout the country for first responders. So that's another thing we can do. We can put together a comedy show for Sadeeb's family to raise funds, because you want to celebrate his life with laughter instead of mourning his life with tears.
Absolutely, you want to appreciate what he did, and I think
right.
I think some of these ideas are great, where we can really cement some things together, and obviously with with the Sikh Riders of America, with the great work that we've done on in terms of proliferating the Sikh ethos and the principles by riding. There's nothing more American than riding on a hog on on a highway, right. Yeah, I mean that is ideal.
Norton.
R. Norton. Okay.
Well, we've seen what the motorcycle community can do.
Absolutely.
We've seen the brotherhood. We've seen the outpouring of giving and donations, and the motorcycle community never fails. They're always there to step up for a brother, no matter where you are in the country, no matter what group you're with. Okay, they're always there. And when the Jarheads had that horrific accident in New Hampshire, all right, it rippled effect throughout the country. And the Southern Dogs and Boone and Shiner, put together something where they raised so much money for the group at Strokers in one day, fill in the bucket. I'm sure we can do the same for Sadeeb in some fashion for his family.
No, and we've actually done. We've gotten such an overwhelming response for his family. I believe on our Facebook fundraisers raised over $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, $1 million for himself. For his family, for his children, obviously his wife. My sister, for his father, and for the fund that Sandeep had envisioned. So just the response has been overwhelming.
All the restaurants in Houston, wherever he used to just go and have lunch with the law enforcement people. I mean, they are giving weeks business and all that. Yeah. 18,000, 15,000.
Well, you think about, okay, he's had 3 kids though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Papa John's just Papa John's for 3 days. All the sales that they made, all of the profits from Houston, Texas, 75 stores, is going to his family, and they said they beat records of Super Bowl sales.
Papa John's did that.
They had a 3-hour wait. They said we don't even have this during a Super Bowl. It was just the support is.
I saw the Houston Astros recognize him at the game the other day. Yes,
the Texans as well. So it just goes to show what kind of man he was, with just kind of this outpouring of support, and just it's been absolutely mesmerizing and just beautiful to see. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes multiple times, man.
Well, that's how he should be remembered.
So maybe this is something we could talk about, later on, between the resources that we bring at the network, the resources that the SROA brings, and the program that Mongo's putting together. All of us together could figure out something, and because we're not just in DFW, so we could take it everywhere.
Teamwork makes the dream work, man.
That's exactly right. We had one of our somebody that's watching this right now, James Casey. He had a question for y'all.
Yeah,
you mentioned several times the struggle that Deputy Dhaliwal went through to get to wear his turban on duty.
Yes, sir.
So I was kind of reading between the lines here, so I'm guessing when he first started, he did not wear the turban, correct?
When he first started, he did not wear the turban.
Okay, so James is wanting to know, he said, any thoughts on the adversities, trying to get approval to wear a turban. He says in the military, he apparently was involved in helping Sikhs wear turbans in the military, which is a recent thing.
That is correct.
Tell us about that. Just that process that he had to go through to get to wear it.
So and I can say it's a little unfortunate that you would have to struggle to be able to profess your faith and serve your country, because you shouldn't have to choose.
Right.
You shouldn't have to choose. And for military, United States has worked on a few cases where we've gotten the right for a few of my brothers to be able to wear their turban. And for Sandeep as well, when he was working, and he was like, this is my calling, man, and this is what I was born to do. But he felt that he wasn't able to realize it fully by not being himself in a full sense.
Right.
Like he was being stripped down a little bit, but then he's being told, hey, I want you to execute, your oath to the best of your ability. But to do that, you have to be at the best of your ability.
Right.
So he felt that, without his turban, he wasn't able to exercise that. So he was like, man, I love this job, and I'm going to make sure I garner my victory, and I'm going to stick this out. I will not falter. I will not hinder. I will not, shy away. I'm going to continue to execute my job faithfully, but I want to make sure that I'm able to do it in my fullest form and my fullest sense, which is with me wearing my turban and with my faith intact, where I'm able to profess myself in a complete sense.
Because that's him. That's his identity.
That's
his identity.
Absolutely.
And if we're not working fully with our identity, we can't provide fully for our community.
If you're not complete yourself, then you cannot give completely of yourself.
I definitely get that.
So, caller, who we have on the air? You're on the 99% Radio Network.
This is Crown from Itis Vertis.
How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing fine, thank you.
What's up, Crayon?
Well, you guys wanted me to call in and talk about my wreath program, so I figured I'd give you a call.
Yes, sir. Tell us about this thing. It's at the National Cemeteries, and it goes on when?
Well, there's actually two different brands. There's Wreaths Across America, which is they cover everything in the U.S., and then we have what we do, which we're not a part of Wreaths Across America. Wreaths Across America does do some of our cemetery around here, but we're separate from Wreaths Across America. The name of our program is Wreaths for Fallen Heroes, and we cover both our veteran cemetery here in Springfield and also our national cemetery. Last year was our first year we started on our national cemetery, and this started 5 years ago with the president and the 12 other members of the club when the club started. And this is just something they wanted to do to pay back for all the veterans who've given everything to make this country what it is today. And they personally raised enough to place 275 wreaths the very first year we've done that. Every year since then, we've steadily increased our numbers for both the Veteran Cemetery and the National Cemetery. Last year at the Veteran Cemetery, we were about 820 wreaths short of being able to cover the entire cemetery.
Wow.
And for our Veteran Cemetery, it has about 6,800 currently interred at the Veteran Cemetery, and our National Cemetery has 15,000 veterans currently interred at our National Cemetery. Last year, we were able to place 422 wreaths at the National and our Veteran Cemetery last year, which is the most ever to be placed at either one of those cemeteries.
Now you raise funds throughout the year to purchase these wreaths? Yes, we do. We have our website, which is itisvertis.com, and you can go on there and find our wreath program, Wreaths for Fallen Heroes. And we also have a new website that was started this year. It's called wreathsforfallenheroes.org, which is for our National Cemetery setup. And money can be donated on either website. And
what we do, we have a couple big donation. One family here in town, and then we had a golf tournament this year that raised some money for us. We do a poker run about the second week of September. We do a poker run, and the difference between what we do and Wreaths Across America, some of their money goes to pay for their employees and stuff like that, versus all the money that we raise for our Wreaths for Fallen Heroes program. 100% of every penny raised goes to purchase a wreath.
So everybody's volunteering their time.
Go ahead.
Everybody's volunteering their time to place the wreaths. Nobody's getting paid. There's no overhead. There's no nothing except
there's no overhead. There's no nothing. We have volunteers from the community and our members of the club from both our chapter and our other chapters locally. We all come down for our program, which this year our veteran cemetery wreaths will be placed on December 7th, and our national cemetery will be December 14th.
Hey, Crayon.
100. Yeah.
Hey, my uncle, Donald Willingham, United States Navy, is buried in the Veteran Cemetery there in Springfield, and you place a wreath upon his grave, and I wanted to say thank you for that.
It's our honor.
Appreciate it.
How are the wreaths placed? Is it just random, or how do some get them? Because you have 10,000. You have 10,000 grave sites. How many? Who chooses who gets a wreath?
The way last year, like I said, our veteran cemetery last year, we were just short about 800, a little over 800 wreaths short of being able to cover our complete national cemetery for the first time ever. Let me rephrase that. Our veteran cemetery, our national cemetery last year, like I said, we placed 8,400 wreaths on our national cemetery last year. And the way we planned that out was basically the roads that run through our national cemetery, we set it to where we lined every row, the headstones of every row, at least 1 to 2, sometimes 3 headstones deep on every pathway through our national cemetery.
Oh,
that way, as you drove into our national cemetery and drove around it, everywhere you drove, everything you saw on each side of the roadway had a wreath. And our national the way we used to do it was we would do every other headstone on one row, and then the next row behind it we would do again every other, but we would skip so they were staggered. So if you looked at it from an angle, as you looked across the cemetery, you saw nothing but wreaths for the most part.
Well,
and
that's got to look amazing. And the families
and it does.
And the families must appreciate that as well. And I hope
and they do. Like I said, we have the reason our plan was we weren't going to take on the national cemetery until we could completely cover our veteran cemetery, which is, like I said, about 6,800 currently interred there. And right now we're about 50% shy of being able to completely cover. Well, let me rephrase that. We're about 7,000 wreaths shy of being able to completely cover both our veteran and our national cemetery for the first time ever.
Well, let's see if we can get some donations out to you. Let's see if some people around the country will step up. Maybe there's somebody who sells wreaths. Somebody knows somebody that sells wreaths that is willing to donate a truckload of them.
And we've got Walmart is who we get our wreaths from. And for the first time, this is the first time in the previous 5 years we've been getting our wreaths from Walmart that we've had an increase in the cost of our wreaths, which it wasn't that big of an increase. I mean, they're still working on trying to get that reduced for us, our local Walmart here. But Wreaths Across America, I'm not exactly sure what they pay for their wreaths, but through Walmart, we pay $6.80 per wreath. So all the money we get coming in actually goes a little bit further than what it would by donating to Wreaths Across America, because we don't have any overhead costs, unlike they do.
Graham, we've posted your website on our site, and if people would like to donate to Wreaths for the Fallen there in Springfield, Missouri, you can go on idasvertis.com or .org. Is that correct, Crayon? .org?
Well, the .org is Wreaths for Fallen Heroes.
Okay.
.org.
So it's idasvertis.com or wreathsforfallenheroes.org. We'll post
Correct.
the second one on our website. And if you're up in that area, and I know there's a number of listeners to the 99% Radio Network up there in Missouri, and you'd like to help Crayon out, I will remind our listeners that Crayon rode all the way down from Springfield to Dallas to participate in the fundraiser for
the Jarheads.
Rib of the Jarheads, and he played a big part in helping get that together.
Yes.
So if any of our listeners or viewers out there can help him out, I'm sure he would appreciate it.
Yeah, somebody try to help him out.
And,
so go ahead, final
and
word.
we'd be honored for anybody in the area or even not in the area that wants to come in the area to come out and help us on December 7th or December 14th to help us place those wreaths and honor our fallen soldiers.
All right. Crayon, thanks very much for calling in and telling us about Wreaths for Fallen Heroes, and hopefully this will help you out a bit and get you some people to help with this.
We appreciate it.
All right, brother. Take care. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, before the preacher calls in to give us our final word, you guys got any final words? Because we're going to have to start wrapping it up soon. So, any final words, websites, events coming up? You were going to talk about events coming up.
Yeah, we have a ride coming up on the 12th of this month, but it's in a Bakersfield. So you can go on our website, sikhriderofamerica.com, and there's a menu bar on the left if you want to donate any of your donations or comments or anything. We have a Facebook too, Sikh Rider of America, and we are here just to help the community and first responders and just represent who we are as a Sikhs, and so that we don't get mistaken for wrong identity, and just to give them people who we are. Thank you.
Anything else on Sadeev's behalf?
Yes, sir. So, I can say that a man's legacy is what he leaves behind. And at Sandeep Singh's funeral, as my brother Paul was attending as well, over 10,000 people showed up just in the building itself.
Jeez.
It was at capacity, standing room for many people. So, it would be a call for all of us to live a little beyond ourselves, just do a little bit more good, just help.
Live like Sandeep.
Live like Sandeep, and so United Sikhs will definitely carry his legacy forth. And obviously you can learn about our projects at unitedsikhs.org. You can go to our Facebook page, a lot of tributes for Sandeep. There were over 50 vigils around the world that have been organized. People are getting in touch with us from Punjab, from Canada, from Australia, just about, hey, how can we get in touch, and can you take some of these pictures, show it to the family, and can you collate some of these videos? So I'm in touch with the father. I'm like, man, your son has left such a fragrance in this world that people the world over are remembering him. So we're going to make sure that we carry that forward, and obviously just like with the Sikh Riders of America, with the wonderful work for the first responders, and with Sandeep with the Hero Fund, and we'll give you guys the websites and so forth. You can tag it.
Yeah, we're going to put all that up
as well on our sites. I know that Sikh Riders will be doing the same, so we can make sure we amplify this message to everybody. And that's it, man. Just if you meet a Sikh with a turban, I'll give you a little clue that you can go up to him and be like, "How are you doing, Mr. Singh?" You will be right 100% of the time, because every Sikh at least has a middle or last name of Singh. Right?
Really?
So just don't tell them that I gave you this clue. They'll be like, man, how'd you know my name? You're like, man, all of you guys that are, man,
So all of your last names are Singh?
Or middle name, middle or last name is Singh, and it means lion. And for women, it's called, which means lioness, princess.
Wow.
So it just to basically put everybody on the same playing field, right? That you're not better or worse than any of your brothers or sisters. So
I like that.
A lot of these,
a
lot of these aspects of our faith, tidbits of our faith, and we are privileged, just like my brother Paul said, that to have you guys here, or to have us here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
for you guys to have
vice
us here.
versa. It's
I just
a
switched that right.
thing.
To have you guys here. Thanks, guys, for being at my radio station. But thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity. It's been a privilege.
It was our pleasure to have you guys. We really do think very highly of the Sikh Riders of America.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Our relationship with y'all is one that we consider to be very important. And to be honest, it's not about the money anymore.
Yes.
When we first met, it was, hey, this is great. We're getting a donation for the V-Rock. That was cool. But as we've gotten to know you guys and spend a little bit of time and can talk, away from the radio show or away from the V-Rock or whatever, and just get to know you and a little bit about your culture and whatnot, it's great. It's really
I don't
great.
think Preacher's going to be calling in.
I'm kind of thinking he's not.
Right. So you know what I'm going to do? I would be honored if you guys gave us a prayer to close out our show.
Okay.
Would you be able to do that?
We can certainly
do
do
it.
All right.
You can do it
you can do
in-
that. But before we close the show out with a prayer, I just got to bring up a couple of events that are coming up, and I do have to talk about Shadows Behind the Badge is offering free and has joined with Life Waters, and they're helping provide veterans who suffer from PTSD free scuba diving lessons. Please contact J. Campbell at lifewaters.org or S. Hyatt at shadowsbehindthebag.org for more information on how, if you know a vet who's suffering PTSD, they can get free scuba diving lessons, and it will help them combat their PTSD. Also, on October 22nd, we have the Walk the Bridge for our veteran and first responder suicides. That day, T-Mobile will be out there with a huge TV to air our September 22nd show.
Texas.
The ones for Texas. That's going to be on Channel 11. This Sunday at the Arlington Improv, right here in Arlington, I will be doing a comedy show for the veterans. So come on out, check out the website. It'll be on there. We're going to do a show for the veterans where the Arlington Improv donates some of that money back. And then we got Smokes and Spokes on the 19th over in Rowlett. Check out our website for that. We got the Sharky Awards at Studio 80 starting on the 19th also. So you can still purchase your tickets then. And, man, I'm just rushing through all this to try to get all these things done. And then we got the V-Rock, the Veterans Recognition at Rowlett City Hall on the 5th, right?
November 5th, yes.
November 5th.
Dan Kleiss, Staff Sergeant Dan Kleiss, U.S. Army, is November's selection for veteran honoree, well-deserved as a combat vet. That guy does a lot over in the city of Rowlett to help out other vets. He's helped us out, big supporter of the V-Rock, very deserving.
All right. I want to thank the Sikh Riders of America for educating us, breaking down some barriers, and I hope you guys will come back on again, and we'll, and we can
Thanks for
really,
having us.
we can really change the perception of communities one by one, and change the perception of the people. And we got to stop looking at each other differently, and treat each other as human beings, and that's when we could start progressing into change in America. So thank you guys for doing that.
Well said.
And,
So, Mr. Singh.
Mr. Singh.
No,
He's a quick learner, man. He's a quick learner.
So, just so you know, this part of the show that we normally we have one of our new friends from Ireland. His road name is Preacher. He's with Blue Deos over there. He normally calls in and closes out with the segment we call Preacher's Prayer. And it's something we take very serious. We want to pray for everyone's safety and continued well-being and whatnot. And so
we'd be honored.
We're honored to have you offer a traditional Sikh prayer.
Yeah.
And and add that to the show. I think it's great. It'd be great.
So
I mean,
would-
because we're like he's an
Yeah.
Irish Catholic guy, and
Yeah.
you know,
Would you like us to do it in our native tongue? Or
That would be
Please,
great.
that
Yeah,
would
that
be
would be wonderful.
fantastic.
That would be wonderful.
Has he got a name?
No, nothing. No, I don't know.
All right.
Keep it to about a minute. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਮੇਰਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਸਫਲਤਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਕਾਮਯਾਬੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਿੱਤਰਤਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਓਟ ਆਸਰੇ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਬਿਤਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਬਲ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਾਈਡਰਸ ਆਫ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਿੱਖਸ 99% ਕਲੱਬ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮਿਹਰ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੀ ਭਲੇ ਲਈ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਲਈ ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਗਾਂਹ ਵਧੋ ਲਿਜਾਣ ਲਈ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਕਾਮਯਾਬੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿੱਤਰਤਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਇਤਫਾਕ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੁੱਖਾਂ ਕਲੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀਆਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੂਰਨਿਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਚੱਲਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਵੀਰ ਸੰਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਧਾਲੀਵਾਲ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਲਿਜਾਂਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾ ਸਕੀਏ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਪੰਥ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀਆਂ ਕਲਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀਆਂ ਸਹਾਇਤਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੱਥ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਾਰਜ ਰੰਭਿਆ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਨਿਰਵਿਘਨ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਦੀ ਸੰਪੂਰਨਤਾ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਸਹੀ ਮੈਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਧਰਮ ਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਦੱਸ ਸਕੀਏ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਸੁਖਾਲੀ ਬਣਾ ਸਕੀਏ ਸਹੀ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮਿਲ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਿੱਤਿਆ ਆਵੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਪਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
Well, thank you. That was. I didn't understand a word of it, but that's wonderful. All right. Well, thank you once again, Sikh Riders of America. I appreciate
it. The sum up
is
that in God's name that we pray that in your name goodness prevails throughout the world.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
all
you,
right,
guys.
you're listening to the 99% Radio Network, and until next week, all right, stay focused, give back, make a difference, keep two wheels on the pavement, and stay out of the mud.